Hello, and welcome to this April 21st, 2025 edition of Minigame Monday. Today we have a word search. I'll get the link for you right now. I'll put it in chat. This is the puzzle that you can solve along with me or share later with your friends. But this is the puzzle we'll be solving. I'll put it up in the view of the chat screen. And if you're here with me, feel free to say hello in the chat. I find that I need help with these word searches. There's a lot of the titles at Protospiel Online are sort of a mix of very short and very long, which makes for a very large playing field for a word search. So that word searches with a lot of letters in them take longer. And also, since I try to keep talking while I'm looking, it slows me down, I think, a lot more than with other puzzles when I talk during this puzzle. So if you're in the chat and you can help me find them, please don't feel like you're taking away my opportunity to find it on my own. I'm happy to have the help. And also, I'll let you know that badges are now on sale for Protospiel Online, coming up in a little less than a month, May 16th to 18th. So that's where you can get your badge. All the game titles in this word search are things that were play tested during the August 2024 session. So people who come and play test their games at the May session will eventually get themselves in a word search for these streams. Let me go ahead and switch view, put that link back up. And here we've got the word search that I shared the link to. If y'all don't have any hints for me, I also noticed last time I did a word search and it took me an hour. I do have the option for hint, and I may go for it if necessary. Hello, Jack. Thanks for joining. I'm trying to remind a little bit before it starts, hoping that will help people attend to. All right, so getting down into it, I think I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit because those letters look pretty little to me. Okay. I'm going to have to scroll, but I think they're just too tiny until I scroll in about that far. So anyway, Bumble Dragon is, a mix of bee and dragon. I did not play test this one myself, but I heard a lot of people after they play tested it saying it was an interesting game. So, and this one is just kind of like a give me very at the top. This is an example of the super long title that can that makes our word search very wide. So, all right. And I think I'll go back up to Bumble Dragon and start looking for a bee. And I guess I could actually, Bumble Dragon, I think this is automatically, alphabetically organized. So I think I'll look for both Bumble Dragon and Push at the same time. And let me also just, to help, like, in case I just happen upon a word while I'm looking for something else, I'll read them all out loud too before I get started. So Capybara Crush, Chain Breakers, Cross Stitch, Frank, Golfer, Guinea Pigments, Hold'em Havoc, Court of Fools, Insider Fruit Trading, Lily Hop, Lunar Venture, Myab, Otter, Painkillers, Predict, Risible Relatives Reunion, Suitcase, Summoner's Dilemma, Tin Punk Alley, True Crime, Twin Tarot. So this is 1/4. You can see it's called Part 3. This is 1/4 of everything that was tested in August. I may need to break things down into smaller lists than this to make the puzzle a little more approachable. But anyway, for this session, I've already made all the puzzles, so I'm going to finish them out the way they are. So I see this B. I think this is in Risible Relatives Reunion. I see that. Oh my goodness. Having a hard time getting it to stay on the letters. That's interesting. I've never had so much trouble with that before. I wonder if it's because of how I'm zoomed in. Try a little bit further out. Okay, that's better. Okay, now back to other BU words. It's going to be too short. Looking for double letters too is another thing I sometimes will do. Because they might stand, or like rare letters. B's are a little more rare than some other letters though. And we've got, it looks like we've got a lot of A's in this grid for sure. Not quite. I can talk about, I can't talk about Bumble Dragon because that's not among the ones that I have play tested at Proshville Online, but I suppose like Lily Hop is something that I have play tested and I know some things about, so maybe I can talk so we don't just have to sit in silence looking for a B. But yeah, Lily Hop is from Matthew Hawker and BUS or M. Nope. BU and Coup Games. And people who attend Protospiel online generally will know Matthew Hawker also is like one of the main people on the team for Break My Game and their Discord server and the other things that they do too. They have both in person and online playtesting events. I think they have a playtesting event every day of the week now in their Discord server. But yeah, Lily Hop, I think it's been in development for a long time. I feel like I remember playing it maybe twice. And it was probably pretty close to the final version. There's Bush Push. When I played it, it's a very it's got a lot of different options. It's one of those games where every time you play it, it's going to be different because you kind of pull out your goals and your pieces and your frogs moving around lily pads. And when you land on certain kinds of pieces, they have different. It triggers a way that your frog moves, and there's lots of different. Lots of different possibilities, and I think you take something like 6 every time from the options. Okay. So I've only played some of the options. There's so much more to explore, but that is currently, it's unclear when that one's going to come to Kickstarter, but it's all completely developed and ready to go to Kickstarter whenever it's easier to tell how to plan for business decisions and there's some more stability in the economy. Who knows when that will be? But I'm looking forward to the day when that is the case, as I'm sure we all are. And hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later, but no one has a crystal ball, obviously. But yeah, it's a very thinky game with kind of the idea is that you're trying to eat flies. It's a race to be the one who has eaten 3 flies, and the flies, when you capture them, it's it's I believe that Matthew is a vegetarian, and I think it's carried over a little bit. The flies are not eaten, actually. I say eaten, but they're more like captured. They live in a jar with their couch and newspaper after they've been captured. Okay, there's a little bit more here. I need to scroll down to find it. There's predict. I found that one without even looking for it. It's just right there. Okay. That one is from Marnie. I can kind of visualize Marnie's last name in my head, but I know I'm going to mispronounce it. I think I could pronounce it if I were reading it off the page, but like from memory, it's something similar to Amberwitz, but I think there's one more syllable in the middle there that I am not bringing to my memory. I need to remind myself of that, because Marnie has 3 titles that were at August 2024 and has been and participated in all of the things. So there's other puzzles that are not word searches, are from other parts, other ways of sharing your prototype. So Marnie shared cell sheets and listed on the website, and so her games have been showing up in all the puzzles, and I keep having that same problem, is I cannot remember all the full way to pronounce Marnie's last name. But okay, I didn't find Bumble Dragon in my first pass through. I'm gonna put a pin in it and go for maybe I'll go for, let's see, this Court of Fools has a double O, so let me see if I can just kind of scan for double O's with it would be an F and an O on either side. An F and an L, I'm sorry, on either side of the O's. We got a fair number of double O's. And actually it would have a double F. Court of Fools. Since we don't have, I put these words in there without spaces, right? So yeah, I mean, O's are 2 O's kind of, you can sort of pull back and just kind of see them pop out at you, or that's how I experience it. As long as they're, I suppose the diagonals are probably a little bit more difficult to have pop out. 3 O's in a row. I haven't found any double F's yet, though. And we are starting to get closer. I find that people don't really want to sign up for Protospill Online until we're getting in the last few weeks. I actually used to do early bird, ending a couple months out from Protospill Online, but it's become clear that people who are working on their games need to be closer to the time when they're going to be doing the play testing to make a decision. Well, this is not popping out at me, so let me see. got 3 C's, CA, CH, CR. They're not similar enough to each other. Double L. I saw a double L on Painkillers. I know that one is from Brooks Barber, and I think it's on the heavier side, or at least like a medium weight Euro-y game about the opioid crisis. So a pretty heavy theme with a goal of driving awareness. Where was that double L I saw? Just to check it. There's lots of I's and L's next to each other that sort of look like double L's. All right, well, I think I'm just gonna need to go with looking for the C's now. CAP. But we are starting to get in that time where we're only about a month out, and it's time to start getting prototypes ready or into the version. See, that's the thing that can kind of happen with game development. Sometimes you can, as the designer, you can run into kind of a dead end where you've run into something that is happening in the game that it's not working the way you want it to, and you can't think of any solutions, and you kind of need to stop, take a break from working on it. And I think designers who have been developing their games long enough are aware that can come up for them. And I think that's part of the there's that one of the double L's that I saw, that it's not got an I before it. That there's a chance there might not be anything that they feel able to work on. I don't know. I think that it's also possible that deciding that you will come to Protospiel online or any playtesting event that is something you block off on your calendar can help you just be ready to bring something testable and move forward. Like, prototypes are not expected to work. Bringing something doesn't work and just doesn't work the way you want it to, and using that version of the prototype to demonstrate the way that it doesn't work the way you want it to is completely fine. And even surprisingly, maybe crowd pleasing, because people who are coming to Protospiel want something to help with, want to be able to help. And so it's really every prototype, you could think of it as a conversation piece, almost a little bit more than a game in the context of Protospiel anyway. Oh my goodness, I am not on my game for word search. Yeah, I found that doing these word searches is kind of a double-edged sword. They're a really obvious type of puzzle to make with things like game titles, because that's what game titles are, words, and that's what word searches are made of, right? So it seems like it should be a good fit, but it's not a good fit for streaming. And I would say too, like my goal with these is not as much, nope. to make good TV with them. Mostly, I want them to be shareable puzzles, but I'm doing the live streams to help spread awareness of the puzzles. Um, so I don't know that I would want to not make these kind of puzzles because they're not good TV, but yeah, I haven't really figured out how to. Wow, I found a few caps, but not anything beyond that. CR for cross stitch. Yeah, that's the. Oh, suitcase. That's another one of Marnie's games. I'm actually not very familiar with suitcase. I don't remember, or haven't read. Oh, here it is. I actually did find it before the end. That's good. It was at the very bottom. I know that Predict is, it has a fun toyetic hook of having a die and a crystal ball. And I believe it's a trick-taking card game, so it's meant to be a approachable for people who are new to games kind of game. And then Frank is the other one. It's also in this puzzle that is a party game meant to get you talking, like a word association party game. Okay, chain breakers. Stitch. Why don't I see what it's like to do a hint for Bumble Dragon? Okay, so it's telling me that this is in the word, but it's not necessarily telling me. Oh, no. It is the first letter. It's telling me the first letter. Got it. Okay. Okay. Guinea pigments popped out at me. Yeah, and maybe the simple answer is just that I won't stream these. I'll share them, but not stream them. Something that's tough too for me is that it's time consuming to make content. I think for it to be workable for me, I need to have a plan that is repeatable and kind of systematized. I have, maybe it's not quite, the plan is not quite finished, but the spreadsheet is not quite finished, but a huge part of how I'm supporting this content processing is, batch processing it, using a spreadsheet to generate a lot of my, video descriptions, using equations in a spreadsheet to kind of take the link and put it in the right place and the type of puzzle and put it in the right place. And so anything with an exception, I'll do live streams of everything except word searches. It actually makes it harder to kind of have the instructions written and have them, just like with rule books, right? Just like with when you're designing a game, needing to have an exception to a rule, like, oh, we always do this except for when it's like this, is harder to remember, harder to explain. it just kind of creates friction. So I also don't, for that reason, sometimes doing less or skipping something just makes it harder to keep track of what's going on. I think it's important for me to do these weekly and consistently, both just for myself and starting to make it feel like less of a lift to do it if I'm doing it every week and it's part of my routine. And then also just one of the things that I feel Protospiel Online provides even for me, and that that is the goal to provide to everybody else, is just like I mentioned, the instability in the economy and uncertainty of things. It's, until Discord goes down and is completely unusable or something like that, Protospiel Online can remain a consistent offering, a consistent place where we can be together, even if lots of different things. Hello, Panda Angel. Thanks for joining. When you have all the fancy emojis. When I share emojis in this program, they're the name of the emoji. So we know the names of your emojis from sharing on my screen there. But not what you said. Panda hi is basically what the emoji language is. But yes, thanks for saying hello. Yes, so the dates for Protospiel Online being announced from the way in advance, and they stay stable on the calendar, is part of what I think is good about what we're doing with Protospiel Online. And I think that streaming can also provide that, right, the same time every week. I think that's an important part of any streamer's setup, is being regular enough. Yes, and don't feel bad interrupting me in chat. I know. Yep. To keep creating whatever it is we create. Yeah, if it's games or community or whatever it is that we create. Oh goodness, I lost my spot. But I'd rather you talk to me, so it's okay. What was I looking for? Wow, I completely forgot. It must have been, I don't think it was Chain Breakers. It was Twin Tarot. That's what I was looking for. I might not have even said it out loud, what I was looking for, so I apologize for that. Yeah, Twin Tarots is a no, you're fine. Twin Tarots is a game from Zach Morris that is just off the rails. Just every card is, quote, game breaking. You're playing head to head. Both of you have just miserably game ruining for the other person cards, but because they're all that way, that's sort of the game. And what happens is you have to your opponent says, I'm going to play this card or this card, and you have to pick the lesser of the two evils. So that one is Zach likes to make games that are like, well, this is weird. I wonder if this will even work, and try them out. And they don't necessarily, they may get put on Zach's itch, but oh, I think I just found it. Yeah, yay. It's nice this tool just crosses them out for me. Okay, so now I'll move on to, I guess I'll start from the bottom and I'll look for Hold'em Havoc. I think maybe, you know, I'm also learning my streaming ropes still. Technically, I've had this channel since like 2022. But until recently, mostly I just have done 2 streams per convention and haven't done weekly streaming to kind of get into the into practice with it more. So true crime is what I'm looking for now. The next TRI. Oh no! I said I was going to look for Hold'em Havoc. See, I'm getting very distracted trying to talk. I'll look for that one. I'm going to do that one. No H's. Okay. But I have seen, you know, I'll watch other streamers and kind of see what they HO, but not enough room. Okay. What they do. And I use a tool called Restream that is a browser-based thing, and it is a little bit limited, although I'm used to it. I think that there's so much to learn about Twitch, and I think the hard thing is that I am also doing all the stuff to run the convention. Like, content creation isn't the main point of what I'm doing. It's just to support the convention, for me anyway. And there's so much to learn about. Oh, I see. Oh, I see Havoc. That's nice that there was some alliteration. So, okay, got one. Yeah, there's so much to learn to have your methodology for Twitch working well. And I know there's a lot of benefit to, you know, kind of using OBS. And Twitch's tools themselves, and lots of Twitch plugins or bots. I don't know what word one would use for those, but I mean, it may be that the answer is for keeping the word search type puzzle from the 4 different types of puzzles. I'm finding it to be the hardest one to do while I talk. Yep, it's a whole set of skills. And there are subsets of, there are many different parts of the skill needed for streaming, you know. You're doing many things at once, right? You're trying to hold attention. There's all this technical stuff and making it so both like what you're saying and what you're showing are interesting. But and also, you know, there's a difference between doing them by yourself and doing them with a partner. Most of my streams, I have a co-host, the ones that I do for, at least one co-host, the ones that I do to support the event. And that's great. I love having a co-host to talk to keep it engaging. And scheduling with a co-host is a lift. And it has been, it really has been what has kept me from doing more kinds of streams than the 2 that I do, the giveaway after the event and the prototype showcase before the event. So that's why I decided to do them by myself, do this type of stream by myself. I'm looking for Otter now. It's short. It's interesting. Short ones are harder to find in this big mass of words, and long ones are, I mean, you could find, like, I just found the second word, right, in the long one, and then I found the whole chain. So in some ways, long ones make the puzzle harder because they make it large, right? But they make the grid large if they need to be in there. Like, this is the one. This is the one that set the width. But yeah, but they give you extra chances to find the first letter. OT. And yeah, this tool that I use to make all these puzzles, I don't think it gives me the option to say, like, you know, the easy button, I guess, on word searches is if they're never backwards, right? then they're gonna be more likely to pop out. But they can be backwards with this tool. But yes, if you happen to see you're looking for something else and you see it, don't worry about telling me about it. You're not. I'm hoping to get done sooner rather than later. So there's a double T next to an O, but not. So feel free. You're not spoiling it for me. Otter, I haven't played, but I know that it's from Charming Games Collective, which is run by an expat friend of mine that's based in Shanghai now. And I believe, I'm not sure what order these things happened in, but he's married and lives with his wife there, and is coming out with kind of a series of things that are very cute and gentle. Like, I don't actually know how Otter works, but I believe it's a card game. And the one I have played that came out recently, people version. Okay, what is it called? Oh no, I can like picture the art. I actually played it with my local game group recently. It's a trick-taking game. Park Life is what it's called. And there were actually, I'm not sure what sparked this, but there were two versions, one with animals and one with people. And the animals featured especially a hedgehog. But when I was, that almost says Tanuki. It's not a word we're looking for, but kind of pops out at me. OT, gosh. I play tested the people version at Protosville Online and really enjoyed it. So I didn't want to risk. I think the people version is the more complicated of the two. It's not just an art difference. I know that. It's like a variant with people art instead of animal art. And it involves like these different suits that each have sort of an object, like it's different weather. You're trying to have a nice day at the park, no matter the weather. So the art has different. Oh, no, it's so close to Otter, not quite. Different. Like each suit is, showing people doing activities. Okay. Oh my goodness, that's close to Otter, but not quite. I'm gonna take a hint. Going to the top. Hint. Okay. Oh, interesting. Oh, wait. But it doesn't know what I'm looking for. So the hint maybe it's insider fruit trading is something that starts with a, okay. How do I say I want a hint? Maybe I have to click on Otter and then say hint. Okay. Missed it way back there. Okay. All right. I'll start looking for Tin Punk Alley now. Yeah, so but back to Park Life. in that game, there's a lot of the suit cards have pictures of people doing different activities that suit different weather, like snow or rain or wind, like flying a kite if it's windy, that kind of thing. And then there's one card that is a picture of an object. There's Tin Punk Alley. Found that quickly. Let's go with Lily Hop. It's the top there. L-I... When you get that item card, I don't know if it's good strategy, but it really like pulls my attention. I really want the item cards because they dictate what point you get points for them based on having cards that match the suit. So like on the snowy day one is a cup of coffee, and if you have the cup of coffee, the more snowy day cards that you're able to collect in tricks, the more points you get. And they're difficult to get. It's very difficult if you like you only get to keep one card from the tricks you take. And I believe in that game, don't quote me too closely, but I believe in that game it is the lowest card that wins. Yes, it's a lowest card that wins, and the points that you get for the cards that you keep are the value of the card. So there, it goes up, I believe, to 7, but it's hard to win with a 7 because that's like actually a losing card, but it's worth 7 points. I'm not sure that I've ever played any other trick-taking game that works like that, where you're getting points for the cards that you collect, but low card wins tricks. Is interesting. L-I-L. There's, yeah, two L's next to an I, so I have kind of double chances to find when I'm looking for Lily Hop. But yeah, I was watching one of Mandy's streams on Salt and Sass, and I couldn't really quite understand what was going on, but it looked like there was a plugin or something on Mandy's Twitch that had like little Zelda, like, 8-bit or whatever characters walking around at the bottom of the chat, and I think that they were somehow associated with the people who were watching along. So like when they would say something, a little speech bubble would come up above the little avatar's head walking along. Yeah, do you know what that is, Panda? Are they animals? I thought they were little people, but maybe they can be animals or people. I don't know. It's called the chatters. Okay. You can jump and hug other characters. What do you can do that by, like, the people who are watching along can do that by typing the right thing in the chat or something like that? Is that what it is? What was I looking for? I distracted myself again. I was looking for Lily Hop, I remember. Okay. Oh, okay. You call the little people the chatters, but the chatters. You mean the chatters are the ones that are making things happen, but you don't remember the name of the plugin. Okay, that is so cute. You can type jump or hug. It looked like it also just, like, if they said anything, if people in the chat said anything, it would show up as a speech bubble. But I don't know if, like, there is a limited number of, like, is it like the first such and such people can get an avatar or something? Because it looked like there were only, maybe like 8 to 10 of them. And I don't know, maybe that's just how many people were in the chat. But I imagine if, you had a really busy stream with like 50 people watching the chat, it would start to become impossible to tell what was going on and probably not fun at some point. So I could see it being limited. I think that could make a lot of sense. But that's something that, maybe could let me feel if I could find something like that to set up while I'm doing this. Maybe I wouldn't feel as guilty if I ever stopped talking, because I don't think watching a cursor go back and forth across letters is very engaging. So if people show up to watch, I want to give a little bit more than that. But having somebody in the chat helps, so thanks for talking to me, Panda. Even if it does take my eyes away from what I was looking at. But I have hints, right? I have hints. So it's not like dire that I get these things, hint free. And I'll do some true looking, but then I'm not above giving up and asking for a hint. And the hint works pretty well. I like that it has that. I like that this tool gives you that option, actually. Oh, goodness. So many LIs. You found it. Okay. Oh, you found the plugin. But I think what you wrote might be a link, and so it's blocking it out. You have to, if it is a link, just like write the word dot instead, like write it out with a dot instead of the punctuation. I thought you found Lily Hop. I was so excited. But I'll take the stream avatar's finding too. Gosh, there's so many LIs. This one is tricky because of that. Oh, wait. Oh, LI. There. Ah, I found it. You didn't best me, Lily Hop. That's okay. Stream avatars. Yeah, I'll have to look it up. I'm sure. Well, something else I have to figure out is if it's feasible at all for me to use Restream and Twitch plugins at the same time. I'm not sure. I have learned how to do the command for commercials by having Twitch open in another screen. So maybe that would be all I need, and I wouldn't actually have to completely switch. Okay. Wouldn't have to completely switch my platform, which would be good. But anyway, okay. I found Lily Hop. I'll do true crime now. True crime. I actually don't no. I've not. True crime is not familiar to me. I'm not sure what kind of game it is. And it's possible. So our rules are that you're invited to, but not required to, share your prototype listing on the website before the weekend comes, or even during the weekend if you just want to record. If you didn't get it in by the time we do the showcase, you could still put it in just to have kind of a memory that you did bring it to the event. It's kind of both to serve as sort of a scrapbook of what happened, like a snapshot of what happened, and before the event to let people know, like, hey, if you've heard of this game, if I brought it before, I'm bringing it back, or whatever. Yeah, so but it's not required to be able to play test the game. You don't have to put it on the website if you don't want to take that step for whatever reason. Either you just don't want to spend the time on making the listing, or you feel just, I don't know, shy about it. Like sometimes a game is really new and you're not ready to put your stake in the ground and say, I am working on developing this. And I think sometimes people don't put things in the showcase because of that. But what we're looking at right now, if you're in a word search, it's because you posted it during the event in the Discord and it got play tested. So this got play tested at the event, but it might not have been in the prototype listing. And it also was, you know, we're talking about something that happened something like 6 months ago. No, more than 6 months ago. So maybe it was in the listing and I just don't remember seeing it when we did our showcase stream to show everything that was in the listing at the day before the convention weekend when we did the showcase. But so I can't promise that if I looked it up on the website, I'd get an answer to what kind of game it is. But I do know that so the website is, of course, publicly accessible. And anybody could go just look in our search bar for true crime and see if something came up. But you have to be in a member of our Discord server to search for lots of T's, to search for the title and then see there will be a description. It must be in the server. And with a short explanation of what kind of game it is. I could look it up. I could look it up there, of course. But I'm already so behind. Yes, I'm 20 minutes longer than I intend these streams to be. So it's just it's a consequence always I'm finding pretty regularly that at least while I'm talking, I might be able to go, oh, there it is. I might be able to go faster I probably could go faster if I wasn't talking. There we go. But yeah, I've got my timer going here. The paid version of this tool that I built, the paid version is very expensive. So it's probably not going to happen. But there's a way to do like contests and stuff, or like you can, compete against other people for how fast you can get puzzles done. Or you could make a puzzle series where people can compete. I think that this tool is really made for the customers are really going for, like the paid customers are really going for our oh, boom, I found painkillers right away. Well, that's nice. When I actually started looking for it instead of just looking for the double L, started looking from the P. Summoner would have a double M that might pop out. But I think they're looking for like I think they've mostly built it to serve like newspapers as their weekly puzzle tool. That's the impression I get. Puzzles are an interesting thing. All types of puzzles are this way, aren't they? That or I find them to be like, the point is that they be challenging. Like you don't want them to be trivial. If they are trivial and they didn't ask you to do anything, like they didn't give you any moment to be clever, or they didn't give you any kind of challenge, it feels more like doing grade school homework. Right? It's strange to try to find the balance between too hard, too easy. Jonathan Schaffer uses Protospiel Online, as an opportunity to test his 18 card escape room games, because he does have a weekly playtesting group, but those people can play it once and then that's it. Or, okay, there's Summoner's Dilemma right there. Yeah, exactly. And one person's hard is another person's easy, and it's difficult to talk. Giving feedback about them. I play test his. I usually use Protospiel Online as the opportunity to play test his games, though occasionally I help him test outside of Protospiel Online. Very occasionally, it works out that way. But the last one that I tested, we all were, we're doing our best to hurry and get done as fast as possible, not necessarily because we feel like a failure if it takes long, but just because there's a lot of games to play and we want to see other people. So the group that I was playing with, we were on it and driving through, and like somebody who was at the table with me later came and said, "Oh my gosh, you all were just gobbling it up. I could barely keep up and follow what you were doing." And it's interesting because like once you've solved a type of puzzle, like Jonathan has a certain way that he makes puzzles. There's a little bit of riddle to it, too. Not exactly riddle, but there's wordplay going on a lot of times in the solutions. There's kind of a little bit of a certain kind of geeky humor that comes through in his puzzles. I'm looking for Golfer now, just FYI. And you get used to, I've seen this before. So it's not necessarily that it's like it's easy per se. I don't know if easy is the right word for it. It's familiar. It's like, when this kind of thing is going on, usually it means that there's a code that needs to be broken, and it has something to do with, in his puzzles, there is a companion app, and there is a little bit of outside knowledge that you may use, but the app has kind of an index of the kind of things you might need to use, like Morse code or something like that. And so you go, there's let me look this. It's time to go look at what code. This is some kind of code breaking thing. What type of code is like, does this picture sort of look like, or whatever? And then you can kind of jump to it quickly. But calling it easy, it's we're so judgmental of ourselves, right? And so quick to feel like others are criticizing us. So GOL. That puzzles can be kind of fraught in that way, even though in a way they're approachable and fun, and inviting, because there is something, I think, about puzzles, like we want to know the answer. Like when a question is brought up to us humans, especially us kind of humans that like to play board games, we want to find the answer. So it does draw you in. Puzzles draw you in, but they also can... Oh, okay, there it is, Golfer. They also can just make you want to give up. You can hit your limit. I have have had for way before I was in the board game industry. I had a subscription to this website called Big Fish that has a lot of different kinds of computer PC games. They're pretty cheaply, lamely made. Let's be honest. It's not a very nice thing to say, I suppose, but they do definitely seem very formulaic. But I also think there's something to be said for things that are formulaic. I'm looking for Frank now. You just knowing, it's comforting to know what you're getting. We actually opened up, there's occasionally, we'll buy games through Steam instead. And I said, I know we have kind of the game library we've built up from this, like the subscription we've had for about 14, 15 years now. And we get a little bit of game every month out of it, according to its model. But I said, well, why don't we try let's go to one of the specific games we bought. Like, we also bought those and we should play those. And so we ended up playing Inscription recently, but just found it was harder and more in Inscription especially is designed to put you off from the, like, you're just thrown in, you don't know what's going on. That is just the style of game it is, or sort of what the person who's making it's Pony Island's developer, and also made Inscription, and the Hex is another one. And I'm not sure it's my Frank. Found it. Oh, I'm glad I started at the top. Chain Breakers. But yeah, I mean, I think the game has merit, but I think that especially with the world the way it is right now, and just wanting to do something relaxing or take a break from being stressed out, those games are very stressful. And so I don't think that they're my speed right now. And I actually said, okay, well, we tried that, and now I want to play one of the formulaic ones. And I see the value in that, you know. And part of I play them with my husband, and there is a little bit of a riff tracks vibe of us playing them together, where we're like, that makes no sense. Just we sit there and complain and play the game, and then play another one. But, oh, humans, right? But the one that I played recently, it was interesting because it was still kind of formulaic, but it was a little bit different. So I would say, like, there's different kinds of games on Big Fish. There's some like time management games. I like those. They stress my husband out, so I play those by myself. And they're like a brain sharpening game. Like, see how fast you can do things, or you need to kind of strategically make sure to use your resources in the right order to get done on a timer. So I'll play some of those by myself, but I haven't been doing very much of that lately. I'm wanting to do the things that I spend time with my husband doing. And so the ones that we play together usually are the point and click adventure or hidden object puzzle. Like, yeah, hidden object. Generally, point and click adventures involve hidden object puzzles, as well as other types, or at least the ones that are on Big Fish involve those and other types. Chain breakers. That's what I'm looking for. CH. And usually the formula is you go from scene to scene. They are on the scenes are on rails, like they're going to come in a particular order. Chain breakers. Nope. Oh man, I really thought it would be chain breakers. Okay. It faked me out. Yeah, so you go from scene to scene, and they have, you know, pretty art generally. And there's a story. There will be, you know, like something written on the screen, characters you run into, they give you your objectives. There it is, chain breakers. Okay, what do I have? I have 3 more left. I'm close. Let's look for Myab from the bottom. And yeah, and you can kind of hop. You'll find objects, and then it's like this key kind of has like a, I don't know, usually I have a like sort of a little design on the key that makes it clear, oh, it goes with this lock. And you need to you know, unlock things to get more things, to unlock more things, and there's kind of this chain of those things happening. And then sometimes you'll get a thing by like doing a hidden object, a hop puzzle. MAY. But and then also generally there'll be other kinds of puzzles, like slider puzzles, or like circuit connecting puzzles, all kinds of different things like that. Like lots of variety, which is good. I like that variety. That's part of the draw, I think, for me. But yeah, the story is usually just not there's not much to it, which kind of gives you a feeling like, oh, if I wanted to make a story game, people accept simple stories, and the game gets played. May. But this new one that I played was called City of Stories. And it's a series that has 3 so far. It's been going I hadn't found it until recently, but it's been going for 3 years, releasing 1 per year. And, oh, there it is, my app. And it works differently, where you have conversations with characters, and the choice, and you often will have 2 options of ways to answer them. Sometimes it's just nothing. It's basically the same answer, but just a little bit of a different personality. Maybe you're being a little more friendly or less friendly, like you're giving more information or less information to their answer. But sometimes it is a choice that opens the possibility of seeing scenes or not seeing scenes. And you can go back to earlier scenes and make a different choice, but you have to start from, like, play the whole game again from there, which is a little, I don't know. But all of the pages are hidden object puzzles, so all the story pages are hidden object puzzles. So if you've played it recently, you recently found all those objects, and you probably can snap through. It's kind of giving you a reason. A lot of these games try to give you a reason to play twice. Like, you can play on casual mode, and then you can play on harder mode again, for they're seeking to give you replayability. But this is giving you a reason to explore it again. And I think I will probably... we bought all 3 of them that were out because they were doing a BOGO sale. It's kind of the way Big Fish works, is what you buy with your monthly fee is credits, and then it's up to you to choose timing-wise when to use them. And so I do try to... It was a holiday weekend, so it was a good time to use credits, and we just decided to get all 3. So I certainly will play the 3 we already got. I'm not sure that I'll make a point of always keeping up with... We'll see. This was only the first one in the series, so it's possible that they will have somewhat changed a little bit how it works, and maybe made it more... Oh, there's lots of LUs too. This tool, it goes for tricky, I feel like. It's on the tricky side. But yeah, because you have to start all over. I like trying something that has a little bit of a different formula, but it's still familiar. It still hops, and it's actually going from a hidden object puzzle. One scene will be a hidden object puzzle, and then there'll be a little jigsaw puzzle, or there was a word search. There were 2 word searches, I think. And also there was a nonogram, which is also called pick cross, and that's a type of puzzle that I have played a lot. I have those down. I could maybe even make a series about strategies for them. And I like them, but there's a lot of nonograms. If you've not heard of them, they're logic puzzles where there are number clues on the edge and they tell you where to fill in. Like based on the number clues, it's telling you there's a block of 2 followed by a block of 7 followed by a block of 5 or whatever filled in. And so there's a lot of looking along lines, and the video games that I've played before that have nonograms in them, they, like, as you hover your mouse over, they highlight the row to make it easy for you to see what you're doing. I think that's really critical, and this one did not. Oh my goodness, this nonogram took forever, and I don't think that it had clues that actually I had to guess. I had to guess at the end. I don't think that there was a and it was huge too. I have some notes for these game developers. It was like, it was the only one that was, the game was not about this. And it was the only one in the whole game. It was huge. It took forever, and it did start to feel like a chore, even though it's a type of puzzle I like, because I can only imagine how people would feel if they'd never solved that kind of puzzle before. There were not a lot of instructions and stuff. So, but you know, it was their first entry in the series, so maybe they will have gotten some feedback and will be a little better. So yeah, talking about the prototypes that we're looking for here again. Lunar Venture is not one. That's another example of one that I didn't play test myself. I think in August, we had some major technical difficulties in August that kept me out of playtesting for a lot of Friday, and I think I was only able to play 18 of the games that were brought out of the, you know, well, so these word searches show the titles of the games. Like some games are play tested multiple times. I know that there were on the order of 130 or so playtest sessions at August, off the top of my head. That's what I remember. But okay, I'm asking for a hint for Lunar Venture. Then I've got one more left. Okay. I just missed it. I just recently passed over it. So, all right. And cross stitch is the last one. But the number of titles would be about this times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16. Let's say there's about 25 or so in here. So about 100 different titles were play tested in August. And I was able to get about 18 of them. But sometimes they're titles that have come before, and then I had play tested them. Like I didn't play test them at this event, but I had play tested them maybe one of the past couple events. Cross stitch is the one I'm looking for now. So yeah, Lunar Venture is an example of one I've not gotten to play test myself. I'm not sure the details of it. Cross Stitch is one that I have play tested, and this is another example of what I'm showing you here being a snapshot in time, because I know that since Cross Stitch was play tested at Protospiel Online, this is Emily Vincent's game, and she decided that the mechanics she had created were cool and fun. She wanted to continue pursuing those, but she didn't think that they matched the cross-stitch theme. Basically because, you know, cross-stitch is a craft where you're making a picture out of like pixel art, you know, is basically what cross-stitch is. And when you do cross stitch, you have a pattern, and the goal is to follow the pattern and have a picture come out. And her game, Knitting Circle, this is kind of in that same vein, as Knitting Circle, giving a platform, or crossing board games and some kind of fabric craft, right? Together. And Cross Stitch is doing that, but with knitting, you just need to end up with a scarf. Like the details of the colors, where they go and stuff, isn't a big deal. But she found in playtesting, and I mean, I was in one of these playtests and can attest that people they want it to be perfect. They do not want to make any mistakes. They don't want to take any penalties. And just the psychology of the mechanics she wanted to use were not fitting very well with the theme of cross stitch. So she changed it to, I think it's called Witch's Woods. There's another game that kind of has a similar theme that I've play tested recently, and I'm a little afraid I might be mixing them up, but I think the one Emily's doing is now called Witch's Woods, and so it's more about planting a garden to be used in potions. And there are little familiars that you can, like tokens for cats and owls, and and I think you're trying to, it actually, only some of the mechanics, of course, of cross stitch came through to that, but the main thing that she came up with that's fun and she's keeping in the not cross stitch themed game is that you have a bunch of square tiles out in a grid, and then you have shapes on the edges that are like polyomino shapes, and you have to go in from the side of the board. Your polyomino shape has to be somewhere touching the side of the board, but then you decide what to take. You decide the shape you want to take, and then you take the pieces, the square pieces out, and that's how you build your pile of resources that you're then going to put into your garden. And I believe the thing that's very different about it from cross stitch is that the way you are scoring is based on these familiars that you put into your garden, and like the cat, for example, wants all the same thing around it or something like that. And I think you're also trying to make big areas of the same kind of plant. It has now been several months since I've play tested that one too, so it would all come back to me, I'm sure, if I sat down and played it. But cross stitch is something that has been part of my life, like the crafting of it. My grandma did cross stitch and taught me how to do it when I was very young, and so I've done some of that in my life. I haven't been doing it very much lately because I decided that I'm sick and tired of untangling the thread. I just don't like the way as life currently is. I have enough frustrations. I don't want to deal with untangling the string. I hate it. It happens all the time that a knot gets in your string when you're doing cross stitch. That is my experience anyway. I don't know, maybe if I coated it with wax or something, but yeah, I don't know. That's not the technique I was taught. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it would help. I could certainly imagine it not helping at all too, and just making your color kind of weird because it's got wax on it now. Okay, I didn't find cross stitch either. I need another hint. But I really want her to figure out game that's about cross stitch that is fun and works. And she keeps saying she's going to try to do it. But all right, so I finished. It only took me an extra 50 minutes than the stream was supposed to be. So anyway, but yeah, thank you. It was nice chatting with you too, Panda. And we'll see you around the interwebs. I'll remind everybody one more time that you can share this puzzle with your friends, especially if you are one of the designers with your title featured. Share it out, please do. And the next time we'll be having a Protospill Online weekend is May 16th. Early bird sale is still going on through May 5th, so you can still get your cheap badges. And we'll see you next week for another Minigame Monday. And let me come big and say goodbye. Thanks for spending some time with me, and we'll see you around.